Welcome back to another strategy session for the digital essay. Today we'll be solving a new type of question. If you have been following Jamboree's channel, what you would know is that when we come down to solving the verbal questions on the digital essay, we always read the question stem first. This will help us to understand what is the question type and in what way are we supposed to then read the text. So let us now read the question stem. This question is asking me, which choice best describes the function of the underlined portion in the text as a whole? The moment the question asks you to identify the function of any underlined portion of the text, this question falls under the category of purpose of the portion of a text. We have to identify what is the function that this highlighted part in the text is performing. After keeping this in mind, we now have to read the text. One mistake that usually DSAT test takers do is that they read only the underlined part. This will not help you to get the answer because the question stem also says that this underlined portion has a function in the text as a whole. So we have to read the entire text to figure out how is this underlined portion connected to the parts before and after. Keeping this in mind, now let's start reading the text. When we come down to this text in particular, what we see is that this is preceded by a small blurb. Blurbs are usually helpful in letting us know little bit background about the text. And these are mostly in terms of character analysis or giving a background to the story from where this excerpt has been taken. And this is exactly what this blurb is also doing. Because we get to know that this excerpt is from a short story collection. And in this particular story, the narrator remembers his childhood in Australia in the 50s. So there's a lot of remembering and reminiscing happening. Keeping this in mind, let's go back and read the text. Braden had been my best friend since I was 5 years old. We started school on the same day, sharing a desk, keeping pace with one another through pothooks and the alphabet, timetables, cursive, and those scrawled and curlicued capitals demanded by our school copybooks. We dawdled to and from school on our own circuitous route, past the Vulcan Can Company, where long shiny cutoffs of raw tin were to be had, which we carted off in bundles to be turned into aids of our own devising. Past the crushing mill, where we got sticks of sugarcane to chew. Narrow gauge lines ran to the mill from the many outlying farms. And you heard at all hours in the crushing season the noise of trundling and the shrill whistle of the engine as a line of carts approached a crossing and rumbled through or clanked to a halt. In the afternoons after school and in the holidays, we played together in the paddocks and crane breaks of the McGovern's farm, being, as the mood took us, explorers, pirates, commandos, bushrangers, scouts on the track of outlaws. Now take a pause and understand the flow of ideas. From Braden till sugarcane to chew, the author is talking about all the activities that he did with his friend Braden. And then comes our highlighted portion, which is a part of a sentence that doesn't mention Braden at all. And then again, in the afternoon, still outlaws, we are back to the activities that the narrator or the author did with Braden. So, this particular part, the underlined part, is basically telling us something about what happened in this can company. That's it, in this can company. And this is where, exactly to be quoting from the text, this is the crushing mill where all of this is happening. That's it. Now let us start eliminating. Option A says it contrasts the disagreeable noise of the crushing mill with the peaceful silence of the farm that the narrator prefers. So many things are wrong in this option. The text does not give me any hint that this noise is disagreeable for the author. It does not also tell that the narrator prefers the silence of the farm. Let us eliminate it. If you have been following Jamboree strategies, what you would know is that this is what we call an out of scope answer, because this is not supported by the scope of the text. It details the process by which the crushing mill typically operates. Perhaps, yes, let us keep this with us. We will eliminate only those answers which we can for sure eliminate right now. It establishes why the narrator finds this environment intriguing. The text never gave any hint for the intriguing part. Eliminate. Why? Yet again, we have an out of scope answer. We are eliminating this answer choice because this is an out of scope answer. It evokes the industrial atmosphere of a location from the narrator's childhood. Now, we are left with two answers which can fall under the right category. However, there is only one correct answer. Here is where, as a whole, part of the question stem comes into the picture. You see how this particular portion gave you a description of the crushing mill. In the whole process of this description of the narrator telling you about what he did in his childhood with his friend, so was the focus of this underlined portion only to give you a description of the crushing mill, or was it to tell you a part of his childhood? The blurb also tells us that the narrator is remembering his childhood. So, on the basis of what the text is hinting at, this entire part tells you a small event from the narrator's life, from his childhood. Therefore, the focus of this text is not on the process of the crushing mill, however, to tell you that, you know what, this is where we got to have our own taste of the industry. This is where we took a break from our school related activities and we got to see that this is how a crushing mill works. Therefore, B gets eliminated and D becomes our answer. You need to practice a lot of questions in order to get the hang of the purpose of a specific portion. And on your personalized Jamboree portals, you will find lots of purpose of the portion of a question. So I hope you're applying all of these strategies in order to ace your digital SAT verbal score.